What's up everybody, Chadley here, and in today's video we're going to be looking at White Death Flak. This is a sniper flak build for Mayhem 4, and it is actually incredibly good for the takedown now that it is scaled down to how many players you have in your game. So if you guys have been looking to run the takedown or just play Mayhem 4 with snipers with flak, this is the build for you. Now another great part about this build is that you guys do not have to use just these shotguns and snipers that I'm using. There's a bunch of other weapons you guys can use. This build is very versatile, so definitely try some other weapons out. Now I know in my last video I said I was going to be doing a Moze build next. I'm still working on it. I wasn't really happy where my Moze was, so I'm still working on her a little bit, but we actually ended up finishing this flak build. So I just wanted to share that with you guys right now so you guys get the most out of it while the takedown is scaled down for the next couple weeks. So starting off, we're going to take a look at our gear, and as you guys can see, we are using a shotgun, 2 snipers, and an ion cannon, and these can be traded out with many other items, so you guys do not have to use this exact setup. This is just what I find a lot of fun because I've really been missing out on sniping in this game, and now it's actually possible, and more importantly, it's possible in the takedown now, so I'm really excited about that. So our first gun is the Stagecoach, and the Stagecoach is just a purple Jacobs, as you guys can see. This is the high pellet variant of that shotgun. A lot of them will come with like 12 to 14 pellets. Those work perfectly fine, but the more pellets you have, the better this gun will be. If you guys don't want to be using the Stagecoach, you can be using the Brainstormer. It won't do as much single target damage, but you guys will be able to use it to get your action skill back, which is definitely its main purpose, but also this thing destroys bosses like you guys saw at the start of the video. And then moving down, we have the head Splosion. This, in my opinion, is probably the best sniper in the game. This thing does a ton of damage, and on top of its damage, you guys are going to be doing some crazy crowd control, because what this weapon does is it shoots explosive shots, and then once you hit a crit, those shots are going to chain to nearby enemies, and then those explode. So it's just a really good gun for mobbing, and also you guys can actually destroy bosses fairly well if you're taking advantage of action skill and anointments. There are several times I've actually killed the Kraken in the takedown with this gun fairly quick within a couple of shots. So that's why I use that. And I have anointed one, so I have one with more splash damage. This one is really good for mobbing. And then I have this one with bonus corrosive in the next 2 magazines on action skill end. I use this one for shooting at armored targets and stuff like that. So that's why I have 2 of them. If you guys don't want to be using 2 head Splosions, what you guys can be using is the Tankman Shield. The only thing you guys have to keep in mind with the Tankman Shield is at its base, it's really not that great of a sniper. But if you guys chain together a bunch of kills, this gun gets insane. I have one-shot Traunt on Mayhem 4 with a Tankman Shield. And the main downside and why I use 2 head Splosions over a head Splosion and a Tankman Shield is that unfortunately, even if you guys rack up kills and then reload so you get that bonus damage in that next magazine, even if you don't ever reload that next magazine, if you switch off the Tankman Shield, that bonus damage actually goes away, which is a huge bummer, and I hope that it actually gets changed in the future. It'll make this gun actually usable, but for right now, I don't use it that much. If I'm just on like Athena's or something like that, not in the takedown, I will use this from time to time just for fun, trying to see who I can one-shot, because you can actually get the damage up incredibly high with the Tankman Shield, so just keep that in mind. And then finally, we have the ion cannon. Now I know it's consuming a lot more ammo now, so this is slightly less viable, but it still does insane amounts of damage, especially with the 3-shot fadeaway that we are using with this build. Other options you can use is the Nukem. It doesn't do quite as much boss damage, but it does quite a bit for mobbing, which is really nice. And then for a shield, I like to use the rerouter just because we're using snipers and high damage, like one-shot weapons. This is gonna give us a bonus 120% amp damage on those shots, and it only has a delay of 2.9 seconds, so you actually get that 120% amp damage quite a bit, so that's why I really like the rerouter. You can run the takedown with the rerouter. I've done it many times with this build, But if you guys want a little bit easier time with the takedown, I definitely suggest using the transformer. There's just so much shock in the takedown that the transformer just makes it easy mode, and you guys are going to be doing enough damage anyways with those guns, so you really don't need the rerouter. It just makes it a lot more fun, and you guys can actually destroy bosses a little bit quicker with the rerouter, but that choice is completely up to you. And for a grenade, I just have whatever action skill and anointment I need. But for the takedown, I definitely suggest getting a transfusion tracker grenade, because what this is going to allow you to do is not only heal yourself, because we're not rocking any lifesteal anointments with this build. So not only is it going to let you get 120% of the damage you deal as health, you're also going to be recharging your shields 30% with the generator transfusion. If you guys happen to get a power siphon transfusion, you guys are going to be getting 60% of the damage you deal back as shields. And what that's going to let you do is keep recharging your rerouter and get that 120% bonus amp damage more often. So if you guys can chain those together, you guys are going to be doing tons of damage all the time. So I really like that. And then for our class mod, we're going to be using the Bounty Hunter. It's definitely one of his better ones. You guys can definitely be using a Deadeye. That is another solid choice. I just don't have a good one that I like to be using right now, so the Bounty Hunter actually ends up working better for me. But if you guys have a good Deadeye, definitely put that on. You guys are going to be doing a lot of damage and one-shotting people. But for the takedown, I definitely suggest the Bounty Hunter, because you're not going to be one-shotting Wotan and Valkyries and stuff like that. So that's just my suggestion for the class mods. And then if you guys are watching this in the future and StackBot has been fixed, I definitely suggest giving StackBot a shot. And then finally, for our relic, we are going to be using the Snowdrift Auto Idol. I use this almost exclusively on Flak. It is definitely one of his best relics. The movement speed from the Snowdrift is incredibly important, especially for the takedown. And also, I'm just lazy and I don't like moving slow. And then Flak, his weakest part about him is he does not have lifesteal. So we're going to get every bit of health back after a kill that we can get. So that's why we are using the auto idle portion. And then for the passives, you guys can get whatever you need. I don't really have that great. Action skill cooldown rate definitely helps though, in my opinion. Now moving on to the skill trees, I'm going to go through these really quick because his skill trees basically stay mostly the same for me. This is almost the same exact skill trees that I used on my ultimate takedown build for Flak that I shared with you guys a couple weeks ago. But real quick, 5 points into self-repairing system, 5 points into furious attack, 1 to all my BFFs to help our jabber stay alive, 1 point into lick the wounds, 3 in turn tail and run, 3 in fast and furious, 2 in hidden machine, 2 rage and recover. This is definitely his best health regen skill that he has. This is very helpful for staying alive. Hopefully this actually gets buffed even more in the future, but we'll see. And then like I said earlier, we are using Fade Away. We are not using Gorillas and Mist. Do not use that. You do not want that. So we're going to be using Until You Are Dead and Unblinking Eye. If you guys are going to be using the Spider Ant, you guys could probably switch out Unblinking Eye for Not My Circus, just for a little bit more survivability coming out of Fade Away, but I was having my pet die a little too much for me, so I just went back to Unblinking Eye for the little bit bonus damage while I am in Fade Away for those 3 shots. And then I just like to use the Jabber, 1, because his name is Mick Jabber, and I really love that. Then also the movement speed and critical hit damage is nice. And in the takedown and just kind of Mayhem 4, your pet dies fairly easy regardless, even if you're using the Spider Ant. So I like to use the Gunslinger Jabber, but you guys can use whatever pet you guys would like. It does not really affect this build in any way. So we don't have anything in our Master skill tree, and then in our Hunter skill tree, we're going to put 3 points into Leave No Trace. This is really nice for the Stagecoach and is kind of a must for the Stagecoach. You guys are going to be able to shoot it almost non-stop, especially if you pace to the 0.2 or 0.3 second delay that Leave No Trace has. And then also, just overall, especially with the Ion Cannon having increased ammo consumption, getting a shot or 2 back from your Ion Cannon hitting is always a plus as well. Then I like 2 points into Interplanetary Stalker for more damage, 5 points into Hunter's Eye, especially if you guys plan on running the takedown with this build. There's tons of humans for the extra critical hit, and all the robots, the 30% armor damage is huge as well. And then another must is head count. 3 points into there. This is going to allow you guys to get your action skill back super fast when using the Stagecoach or Brainstormer. 5 points into 2 Fang, extra projectile chance is really nice. And then 3 points into Big Game, and that's also to boost our most dangerous game. But also that's going to boost Interplanetary Stalker and all that stuff. So that's why we use those two. 1 point into Galactic Shadow for more critical hit damage, and also enemies are less likely to attack us. And then finally, definitely Flak's better skills, definitely in top 5 for him, is Megavore, so we're going to be using that. That with shotguns is insane. And just basically anything Megavore is really good, definitely better than the power inside, in my opinion. That's really all there is to this build. I'm going to go show you guys how this actually turns out in-game. It's a lot of fun. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into the takedown and just kind of run through it, and I can show you guys how easy it is. But we can go ahead and just one tap our guards, get right on through, one tap these guys. He's gonna juke us a little bit, doesn't really matter. We're just gonna waltz on in with our head Splosion. Then now when we need our action skill back, switch over to our Stagecoach. And then also I want to show you guys how much damage the Stagecoach actually does. It does absolutely dumb amounts of damage, and it's going to let you guys just keep going in and out of fadeaway, keeping those action skill and anointments up, and just dealing insane amounts of damage. So we already have the door opening for the Kraken, and we've been here less than a minute. So we're just going to go ahead and take him out. You guys can use the Stagecoach or Ion Cannon. It's completely up to you. I'm just going to shoot twice with our Stagecoach, pull out our Ion Cannon. We have the wrong one on. It doesn't matter. With the action skill ends, you guys are just going to destroy him, and we can just move on. So now we got a Valkyrie coming in. We're just going to pop him. We didn't even really have fadeaway going, and he's already immune. You guys can time up your fadeaways. These Valkyries are going to be going immune basically instantly, so it's always a good time. And you guys can pull out the head Splosion and just one-shot your heavies for the most part. Occasionally they'll live, depending on what elemental type they are. So now let's take on this Valkyrie right here. We're going to get our skill back, and we're just going to melt him until he's immune. So I got one shot left here. I'm just going to go ahead and wait for this guy to jump down because I knew he was about to jump on down here. So we can just get him immune in about 2 seconds. Super easy. Just keep doing that for all your Valkyries, and you guys will have no big deal. And I will see you guys at Wotan. Alright, so I'm not kidding when I say it's only been a couple of minutes since I said I would see you guys at Wotan. And I'm just going to show you guys how quick you can actually kill this guy with this build and the Stagecoach and just all the goodies with this build. It's seriously a breeze with this build. Occasionally you'll get these missiles that land on you. But if you're quick enough and utilizing your Snowdrift, you guys will be perfectly fine. I just mainly use the Stagecoach on him until he splits for the most part. And then I am stuck on ammo boxes. Okay, now I can actually go over here and continue our fight. And he's going to go into his next stage. Here is there. I'm going to break that. Go invisible. Lift it up. Break. And we're just going to use the Ion Cannon on his upper half. And he's going to save his upper half. There we go. And for the most part, we're done. His top half is glitched, so I'm just going to go ahead and shoot that with our Ion Cannon, and we're done. That's how easy the takedown is with this build right now. Now, I don't know if this is going to stay the same after the scaling for the takedown is no longer live. Maybe they'll just end up keeping it like this. So if you guys are watching this in the future, maybe this will still be a thing. You guys can do this fast with the takedown. If it goes back to 4 players, this probably won't be the most viable build. You guys can go check out a video I had about a Flak build 2 weeks ago. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. And you guys can check that out if you guys are looking how to do the takedown with Flak. But for real, this build is a ton of fun. Definitely one of the more fun Flak builds I've had. It just feels really nice to be able to use a sniper again efficiently. And also my first actual playthrough with Flak, he was my first character. I abused shotguns and fadeaway so much. It was a really great time. It throws me back to the very start of this game when I was enjoying it like crazy. I'm still enjoying it like crazy, but definitely that was a whole nother level of excitement at the start of this game. So it feels really good to go back to it. But that's going to wrap it up for this Flak build. If you guys found this video super helpful, make sure to leave a thumbs up on it to let me know. If you guys want to see more Borderlands 3 builds or just in general content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers at the time of recording this, so definitely hit that subscribe button to help me out. Also, I am putting my save file with this build in the link in the description for PC players. I am only on PC, so that's the only save file I can share with you guys. Just to note with that save file, I am not going to be putting the Stagecoach and the Nukem in there right now. If you guys don't know, there is a community challenge out right now to run the takedown with the different characters as fast as you can, but not using certain banned weapons. And right now, this is what I'm going to be using to run it with Flak at the current moment. This is my plan. So I do not need anybody kind of stealing these weapons. So hopefully you guys will understand. After the community event is over, I will put the real save file in there with the Stagecoach and Nukem. So thank you guys for understanding with that. I will catch you guys in the next one. My name is Chadley. See ya.